The following session involves a deaf client, a man named Theo, a hearing counselor, Liz, who does not know sign language, and an interpreter, Alma. Theo has finished treatment and is now back home in his community attempting to stay sober. This part of treatment is called aftercare. Much of the work in this phase of treatment relates to clients understanding their triggers, building resources, and learning how to live a sober life in their home environment. The goal of this session is for Theo and his new counselor to begin to look at how he will manage his sobriety now that he's at home. The wide variety of support for hearing people in recovery is largely inaccessible to deaf people. This can become a source of resentment for the client. Resentment in early recovery can be a huge trigger. And so providing the client an opportunity to talk about these challenges and how they will address them can be helpful. Working with substance abuse clients around getting to meetings is nothing new. However, the reality is that there are few, if any, meetings accessible to a deaf client.
Hi, you must be Theo, and you must be the interpreter. Hi, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming.
You should look directly at me. The interpreter sitting next to you will be interpreting exactly what I'm saying. You might notice my eye gaze shifts between the two of you so I can follow. But if anything I say isn't clear, just ask me to repeat it, and I'll do the same for you, okay?
Okay, so I make sure to look at you.
That's right. Just keep your eye gaze on me at all times. And if you need me to stop and clarify, that would be okay. Just speak normally.
Theo is a strong self-advocate for his communication needs. Most clients will not be as assertive about this, even though they have similar needs. The counselor needs to pay attention and check in on the working relationship between the client and the interpreter. This is critical for the smooth facilitation of communication throughout the session. An important skill for any counselor is the ability to check in to make sure that the client understands what's happening in the session and is engaged. Having an interpreter does not guarantee that the client will understand. The interpreter may accurately convey the content of the session, but it's up to the counselor to watch the client carefully for signs of boredom, agitation, or other indicators of resistance, confusion, or disengagement. Don't be afraid to trust your skills in this area. Pay attention to Liz. What are the strategies, comments, and techniques that she uses to check in to see that Theo is understanding and engaged?
Okay. So, you had your intake meeting last week. How did that go, and how was your week?
Well, 2 days ago I went to my recovery meeting, and I've been going to AA meetings.
Wow, so many meetings, but they don't all provide interpreters, right? I think I only know of 2 that provide interpreters on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's been difficult. I know I'm supposed to do 90 meetings in 90 days, and that's great for if you're hearing, but you can go to plenty of meetings every week, but there are only 2 meetings that are accessible to me. I'm kind of stuck, because I'm deaf.
So it seems that you're worried if you don't do 90 meetings in 90 days that you won't stay sober. But it seems like you're getting all the support that you need. 12-step meetings are an important part of your recovery, but it's not the only thing. Did you learn about other aspects of recovery in your treatment?
Well, I know I need to be careful about the friends and other people I hang out with. And I learned that I'm supposed to have a sponsor, but I don't know how I'm supposed to, who I'm going to get for a sponsor. They also mentioned to avoid stinking thinking, like negative thoughts.
So you're looking at meetings and staying away from bad influences and getting support is helping you stay sober.
Yeah. There's a lot that they tell me that I need to do. I don't know how I can handle it. Oof. It's a bit overwhelming.
So I see you're really feeling scared about this, but you know what? You're sober today, right? Isn't that what's really important? They really give a lot of information and treatment. You might feel like you have to do it all now. And as time goes on, you can use the resources as you need them.
Yeah, having meetings twice a week would be good, but I don't like the Tuesday night meeting because my ex is there.
Oh, how does it feel to see her there?
Well, I went to the meeting and I wasn't happy to see her there. Susie was there, and what makes it worse is she's the interpreter. I felt like, I was uncomfortable, I can't really express myself. Whatever I say, I know she'll go back and tell other people. I've seen her say mean things and backstab other people. I don't want her to do the same thing about me. So I can't really say anything. And if that isn't bad enough, I know she's using heroin. So I have to sit there staring at her with a straight face at the meetings, even though I'm so disgusted with her.
Seems like you're really focused on Susie. Do you remember step 1 from the 12 steps, that you're powerless over alcohol? Can you try and stay focused on that?
Well, of course I know that. I don't expect you to understand being hearing. You have no idea what it's like. The deaf world is really small.
You're right, I'm not deaf, and I don't know what it's like to be deaf, but I know that your sobriety is what's important, and I think I can help you in your recovery. Let's try, okay? Now, when you're thinking about your meeting with Susie, I know it's definitely a challenge, so I'm wondering, can you tell me something that you have the power to change?
Well, I could see about maybe dropping the Tuesday meeting. The Thursday meeting has a different interpreter, so that's good. But then I'll only have one meeting a week, and I'm worried I might relapse.
Is that really your only choice? What else can you do?
Well, I could ask the coordinator for the Tuesday meeting to replace Susie. She'd have a fit. She needs the money for rent. She just moved, so money is tight for her.
Yeah, she may be upset. Do you have any control over her reaction?
You're right. I can't control her feelings, but I really don't want her to be mad at me or to hurt her feelings.
You really want Susie to be happy, don't you? More important than your own recovery?
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. My sobriety is really important. If she's mad at me, that's not my problem. She's really selfish. She should have seen my name on the list for the meeting and declined to interpret that assignment. But she just went ahead and took the job. She really wants me to relapse.
Does that really surprise you, that she doesn't support your recovery?
No, I'm not surprised. I tried to convince her to go for counseling for her heroin use, but she refused. When I was in treatment, I asked her to please stop using drugs in our house, and she refused. Then she broke up with me. It really hit me hard. But, being in treatment was really helpful. And if I was at home, I know I probably would have taken a lot of drugs.
But you may have relapsed anyway. But you stayed. Why didn't you leave?
Yeah, during the treatment, I got a lot of support. I need to figure out where I can get support now. Obviously not from Susie.
In the session, Does Liz affirm Theo's experience? Does she focus on the actions and language that indicate desire for change? Theo brought up some very sensitive issues about his ex-girlfriend, who was also the interpreter for his Tuesday night meeting. There are two issues here. One is that recovery is hard for deaf people because with limited resources it's hard to maintain anonymity. The second issue is that Theo's ex-girlfriend is also the interpreter at his meetings. While both of these issues present real challenges, the focus of the session must be about Theo and his recovery. How does Liz do in keeping Theo focused?
So who are the supportive people in your life now?
Well, my brother, my mother, a few people at work. I have some friends that I play poker with. Some of them drink, but I don't. They know I'm an addict and they encourage me to stay off drugs. I'm more worried about not going to meetings. One meeting a week is not enough. I really need more.
There are two things to consider here. On one hand, you need a meeting where you feel comfortable. And then on the other hand, Susie needs work. So which one is more important to you?
Oh, I need the meeting. But I don't want to get her mad if I ask for her to be replaced.
I know it's a hard choice for you. It's hard when other people get upset about our choices. But just think about it. You don't have to decide what to do today.
Well, I really need the AA meetings. You know, when I see Susie interpreting at the Tuesday meeting, she's always complaining about money and stuff. I'm fed up with it. I'm going to tell them that she needs to be replaced. You know, I also realize that I don't really have to give a detailed explanation about it. You know, our relationship and all the details about it. You know, and her heavy, heavy drug use. I'm angry and I'm tempted to tell them about her. But, you know, I feel I still have feelings for her. And I just need to focus on me and my sobriety and just gather up my strength and keep going. You know, I need to just go ahead and tell them I want to replace, and before I change my mind.
Yeah, sobriety is about making choices every minute of every day. We have different kinds of choices, like choosing to pick up a drink or even coming to counseling like you did today.
Yeah, you're right. I need to keep reminding myself that this is good for me. And I keep going back and forth about my feelings for Susie, just the same way I dealt with drugs. You know, going back and forth. I don't want to get sucked into that again.
Theo spends a lot of time focused on Susie and the negative impact she has on his recovery. Liz tries to pair up the conflicting desires that Theo has to be sober and to keep Susie happy. Liz is effective in her effort to refocus Theo on issues that he can control. She's affirming and engages Theo in making this shift. Now let's talk about interpreting. Past or current partners, family members, or friends of the deaf client should never act as an interpreter in the client's recovery. Interpreting is a well-established profession, and its practitioners act as neutral parties. A professional interpreter maintains certification and follows a code of ethics.
You know, staying sober is a lot like driving a car. Let me show you something. In treatment, we're driving along the road toward a common goal. And sometimes it's easy to go along and follow the path of your treatment and your program, but other days it's easy to veer off the path and get distracted. It's a lot like learning how to drive a car. You're trying to pay attention to the lines on the road and everything that's going on around you, and sometimes you get distracted. So sobriety is the same thing. Sometimes you're going along and get distracted and veer off the path.
Yeah, you're right. I've been really distracted this past week. Even while I'm sitting in meetings, I'm distracted. You know, I still think about negative things. It's overwhelming. I can't stop thinking about Susie. So yeah, I'm always getting distracted.
You're right. Life is full of distractions, but you need some things to help keep you on track, like people, places, and things. You need people that you can get support from, places that you help keep you on track, and things that help you stay focused.
Oh, you mean what I learned about people, places, and things, the PPTs, is that they're all negative. Am I wrong about that? I didn't think they could be positive.
Let's try something here. We have these blocks here. Now, imagine that these red blocks are aspects of drugs that made it easy for you to use. Can you tell me some things that encouraged you to use drugs?
Definitely Susie. And my dad, he used to give me money. I have some friends who used to give me drugs. My mom, she knew I was using, and if my father asked about me, she'd cover for me, lie to him about me.
Now tell me some things that you felt good about using drugs. What good did you get from using drugs?
Drugs make me feel free, like I could just escape. It was fun, relieved all my stress, and really exhilarating.
Okay, well, now that you're sober, what good things in your life support your sobriety now?
Well, my mom, she's deaf. She's a great support. She's been going to Al-Anon meetings. She's really good at negotiating for her needs, and getting interpreters at the meetings. She really knows how to do that. I wish she could go negotiate getting a replacement interpreter for me. I'm close to my brother, too. We text each other all the time. He helps me out a lot. I've been working out, exercising, and running. I'm feeling really good about myself.
Notice here you have less blocks here now. Things that make you feel good, but a lot of those things weren't healthy to begin with. So it's kind of good that those blocks are gone. Even though there are a few left, you're always going to have some of those unhealthy things in your life. So now your job is to find and develop and increase those healthy behaviors, these right here, these yellow ones. Develop those PP&Ts. You remember what we talked about, those people, places, and things that are healthy for you. And push away those red and blue ones that are not. Yeah, just like I pushed away these red and blue blocks right here. We still need a certain number of blocks to feel good in our life, so you can't just push away the reds and the blues. You'll have too few of the yellow ones left. So you've got to really increase the yellow blocks while you get rid of the red and the blue ones. If you don't have enough yellows, you might relapse.
Before I was so consumed with using drugs, I had dreams. I wanted to do things like biking, hiking, making art. Now that I'm sober, I can start doing those things. So maybe later I'll, increase those yellow blocks. But there's one, I'm really stuck with. That's my dad. He's always pressuring me to drink. Whenever we get together, he wants to drink. I need to stay away from him. Maybe I should only talk to him on the video phone. You keep some distance. That might make it easier. It's not just the drinking, it's how the drinking makes me want to use drugs again. I don't want that. I want to be sober from now on. And see this one? That's my dad. I need to be careful and really stay away from him.
In this segment, Liz used simple toys to provide visual metaphors of the recovery concepts that Theo is learning, like people, places, and things, or PPTs. The red blocks represent those associated with the negative aspects of using drugs. The blue blocks represented those associated with the attractive aspects of using drugs, and the yellow represented the PPTs that helped Theo maintain his sobriety. Use of these objects helped to enhance clarity about the concepts. What other recovery concepts could be illustrated through the use of toys or everyday items? In this program, we have explored a number of concepts regarding addiction and the 12-step recovery process. There are many more resources available, and we have provided some on this DVD. Whether you're a deaf counselor, a hearing counselor who signs, or a counselor who works with an interpreter, you can make a difference in deaf people's lives. You can be effective in helping them be successful in recovery. Thank you for watching.